Fnatic. And the question is really, what is NaVi going to pick up for this final pick when it comes around? NaVi now looking to ban any kind of offlane that they feel Fnatic might want to run themselves. Of course, the fact that they are running a Tusk, you know, we do see Clock being banned out a lot. Okay, it's going to be another disruptive era banned out. They're going to take away the SB.
It makes sense. If you look at Fnatic's lineup so far, they have so much disruptive potential. Like Winter Wyvern has Curse. You can Cold Embrace somebody who gets ruptured when the Bloodseeker and the Tusk go in. You give Light Strike Array. You have Bane, Gyrocopter's area control damage with Flak, and the Rocket Barrage with the Call Down combination. My biggest concern right now for Navi's Trapped is that they actually lack Disable. They have a bunch of heroes who are very good at chasing and like running in, but they don't actually have a lot of lockdown. And trying to fight into Fnatic's heroes right now, I feel like they're all ranged. All of them except for Gyrocopter have an actual real hard disable. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, are NaVi going to be able to fight up against this during the mid game? I guess it depends very heavily on the lanes themselves and how much Havos and this Bloodseeker can get and how well Dendi does mid. Yeah, absolutely. If Dendi and Havos start to absolutely run havoc across the map, there's going to be the potential for a big kind of momentum swing to begin for NaVi. But it's just finding their footing there in the earlier stages that's going to be the key to that. NaVi now with this final pick, still looking for that secondary support, and wow. I've got to be honest, so far in the group stage, I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of focus on IO either. Even in the banning stages, there's been a lot of drafts where it's totally been ignored. Yep. And it's gotten to the point where, as we're seeing now, they're able to pick it up as a 5th pick. Offlane of 4 Fnatic is going to be that Darkseer. But IO, I think NaVi are kind of all in with their strategy. They see the draft and they think to themselves, all right, mid-game, Fnatic's lineup is actually extremely difficult to fight into. So one of the good ways to circumvent that issue, like if we're looking at it on paper, 5v5, Fnatic, they have the advantage in my opinion. Especially with that Darkseer now and the Gyrocopter Wombo combo. And plus you also have Curse to synergize with that. NaVi are going to need BKBs, or they're going to need to be able to create so much chaos with Wisp relocates and Queen ganks with Tusk that Fnatic are not going to be able to get everyone on the same page. Like I think that's how they have to play this. They need to try to pull Fnatic apart with just non-stop aggression. Oh, it's going to be really interesting to watch. Yeah, with the
10 seconds remaining.
What was the potential for these pickoffs? And Fnatic, as you said, maybe looking more for that kind of team fight potential. And NaVi going to look for those kind of cross the map. But nonetheless, let's see what we've got going down here with the first game in the first series here on the 3rd stream of the International. NaVi versus Fnatic, game 1. As we get ourselves in terms of lanes, I imagine it's pretty much going to be their standard. We're going to have the Darkseer off lane. You're going to have your Tusk off lane. Safe lane and tri lane is probably going to come out from both sides. We may see the Bane, Kessikimber, look for a bit of early kind of rotations. You know, we'll see where he likes to kind of put his presence towards the laning stage.
He might kind of sit around mid for a while too. Yeah. You can just be a nuisance, you know, get like either Enfeeble or you get Nightmare. You could just make the other mid not able to trade with you. And Bane has great early stats, right? Like 58 base damage with no stat items at all and 4 armor. Like he is an absolute beast when it comes to at least level 1. So right now, Fnatic just going for the jungle invade here. Probably just looking to get some vision up. Very common warding spots coming out here from both teams. And the lanes are super important for NaVi as well. They need their Bloodseeker to get off to a very good start. And then the rotations coming in from Fnatic, they have to also be on point. They need to control the game from a very early point. Like, you don't pick Bloodseeker and Tusk and Wisp with Queen to sit around and do nothing, right? Like, NaVi want to go super ham this game.
Yeah, and if anything, the eye is just going to help that. You know, as soon as we see that level 6 come online, they're going to be looking for pickoffs all across the map. And it is actually going to be a Hyo here on the Darkseer, heading towards this top lane. So we might actually see Fnatic go a little bit aggressive here. Yeah, Jaro is going to be heading down to that bottom lane, KYXY. Johnny and Kessik hanging around towards the mid lane at the moment, but I imagine they will need to go and help out the Jaro. It's going to be the Jaro versus this Bloodseeker lane. NaVi themselves, they've got Funny Can art style on the off lane. Dendi towards the mid, of course, Seneko hanging around there. Might need to help him out in DJ. Johnny's going to stick around with Mushi, so we might see a bit of a 2-on-2 in the mid lane. But yeah, so the Darkseer being sent up to the top lane. Is this Fnatic kind of avoiding what NaVi are trying to do? Who's coming out on top here?
I really think that this is the best possible situation for Fnatic. They see the fact that, okay, if Bloodseeker is up against an offlaner, and it's Darkseer, and there's one other hero there just constantly harassing, we talked about how important it was for the Bloodseeker to have lanes that are going to win. And by winning, you just want to have consistent harass, right? You want to keep the heroes low, so Havos can benefit from that thirst and be able to bully his offlaner. If Fnatic lane in this way, and they have 2 heroes in mid and bottom, they're guaranteeing 2 out of 3 lanes will win. That means the thirst benefit from Havos is going to be lower. You're also shutting down his farm in conjunction. And, I mean, Dazzle Tusk is not really going to be able to kill a Darkseer unless Ohio gets drastically out of position, which I really don't see happening in this matchup. So, for Fnatic, I think these lanes are pretty ideal.
Yeah, it certainly feels pretty smart from the side. As you said, Havos is having a lot of trouble here. Gesic just coming in with the slaps, forcing back the Bloodseeker. And space is being created very easily for KRXY to pretty much have free farm in this lane. There's not going to be anything the Bloodseeker can do to disrupt this Gyro's farm down here. He's going to need a bit of backup if they want to try and slow down Fnatic in that respect. Artstyle actually hanging around the mid lane now with Seneko, leaving Funnick on his own against Ohio. Of course, being a melee hero, it's not going to be too much fun up against this Darkseer. We've seen a few games where the offlaner has been able to get a fair bit of farm. It's probably going to be a little bit less so when you're trying to do it up against this Ohio Darkseer.
It's going to be annoying CSing out of the tower, but we talk about Tusk a lot, and he needs, more than anything, he needs levels. Like, you want to just hit 6. We're going to see a haste turn picked up here by Mushi, but I don't think he's going to try to go for any early kill. And you can finally see NaVi realize they need to rotate. Like, Artstyle's made his way towards bottom. He's like, I can't let my Bloodseeker sit down here and get nothing when the Gyro's going to free farm. And it even gets to a point where I think that Havos would be so underleveled and underfarmed that KYXY would be able to just solo zone him. And that means that Keswick can just start going somewhere else if he wants to try to like go for a gank on mid, for example, if they manage to find out that Wisp. I think NaVi might have spread themselves a little bit too thin with the supports that they picked because they don't give you any options. They're both very defensive and no disables.
Oh, here we go as well. They know he's level 1. They know he's got the heal. No Shallow Grave available. Going in with the Rocket Barrage. There's your first blood. Johnny there to help out as well. And Fnatic just finding the opening perfectly there on the bottom lane. And I mean, that is your Dazzle that was sent down here to help out Havos.
Well, they knew that they couldn't like let things stand. Maybe the better option would have been just to have Havos do what he's doing now. I mean, he's rotated to the jungle. This is probably one of the only things he can do in this situation. Buy like your Quelling Blade, start jungling, but he's not even really able to do that effectively. I think for the time being, Fnatic are going to be more than pleased with the way the lanes are rolling out, and you can see Johnny and Imba are both just like, all right, he's in the jungle. We know where he is. We got vision. I think they might have seen him actually walk up there in the first place, if he went through the lane at least. And Artstyle, at least he's level 2 now. So he has Shallow Grave, just in case something goes horribly awry.
And they've got some more backup coming in as well. So Seneko is hanging around in the sidelines, does have that bottle, of course. And the mid lane for Dendy, 15 for 7, 14 for 1. Slightly ahead there in terms of the denies. But again, Johnny just doing what he can, disrupting the jungling here of Havos with the backup of Artstyle. And just more and more space created for this Gyrocopter. They are indeed going in. Mushi looking for the TP out. Nothing they can do to stop that. And still just 1-0 on the board. And if I was NaVi, I'd be very worried about this Gyrocopter, Andy.
I'd be worried about everything, actually. I mean, Darkseer and Gyro are both the top of the board by a lot. And you can see Ohio is pressuring so hard here on Funnick, even with that bottle. He's got a salve. He's going to use a snowball to avoid taking a little bit more damage here. Is he actually going to die? Okay.
Oh, jeez,
that was
close. The salve actually gets cancelled as well.
He burns his salve, and now he's pretty much got to go back to base. Unless, okay, never mind. Seneko has a regen, so I guess he can heal him up.
Indeed. Just trying to get a bit of harassment out onto Ohio. Ohio is actually out of mana, no mana for Surge, but I don't think Ohio cares. He's just going to run head at them. He at level 6, pretty damn tanky. Not a fear in the world here for Ohio. And Havos just desperately trying to find CS under the tower, but we are 5 minutes in, and he's only got himself 6 CS. This is a very poor-looking Bloodseeker.
Well, at the very least, he's getting some experience under the tower. When damage is dealt to enemy heroes too, it's deceptive how Bloodseeker works, because obviously you want to farm on the hero. But if you find an opportunity where Fnatic have a couple of heroes that are low on HP, then you can actually start to run in and go for your damage, and then maybe you can kill. But the biggest concern is not even really the Bloodseeker not farming, it's the supports on NaVi. They're too weak right now to do anything. Like, Seneko doesn't have an impact hero early like Shaker or Winter Wyvern that can actually go around and help you win the lanes. That's their biggest issue, is they picked a draft that needed to win early, and their supports can't help them do that. They just don't have lanes that are strong enough.
Absolutely, it certainly feels like that from the side. But it's still early days, 6 minutes in. You know, in the mid lane, Dendi's still having a pretty good time. 25 for 15, certainly starting to break away here from Mushi's Lina in terms of farm with the backup of Snako as well. So I feel like a lot of this is going to be down to Dendi's rotations and what he can do for his team across the map.
There's so much pressure on him this game. If he doesn't have like perfect TP ganks and they start pressuring, like maybe you gank bottom, try to take out KYXY, or even killing a support at this point is going to be okay. Even if they have two heroes that are farming relatively well, the rest of their team is getting pretty much nothing. And even though Dendi is actually kind of, he's not owning mid, but he's doing very well. Like he's 30 and 19. 19 denies up against Mushi, who only has 1 and 20 CS right now. A lot of that was because Snako was sitting nearby, right? Like he was helping harass, and that's the trade that NaVi were making by having Habos just get absolutely nothing out of his lane. I mean, look, he's mid. Like, he has absolutely nowhere to go.
Oh yeah, he's certainly struggling to find somewhere to farm. Bottom lane, the pressure coming in. TPs are coming out from NaVi. Looks like they want to try and go in with the defense. Moving forward, Kessick taking a fair bit of damage. Goes out with the Nightmare, now with the Brain Stab. Keeping himself alive, but Dendi here with the rotation will enable them to find the kill onto Bane. So, well, we're talking about the reactions from Dendi this time. Coming out to bring them on the board. They're going to find KYXY. KYXY just going to find Artstar. They're going in straight away. Snako and Dendi are about. Dendi's still got the ultimate available here. This could be big. KYXY and Johnny, they're grouping up, and there we go. Sonic Wave, Dendi with the double kill. And this is exactly how Dendi needs to be playing to get NaVi ahead of this game.
Thank God for NaVi that Dendi actually made that happen. I'm really surprised that Fnatic decided to keep going on that. They saw 3 heroes mid lane as well. Too. They're going to get Mushi.
That's big. I mean, Tusk, he was level 7, had the Walrus Punch, catching out the Lina. And NaVi, you know, they had a bit of a slow start. The lanes didn't look too great, but now the action's kicked off, and NaVi are in their element.
Now, we knew that they wanted to go ham, right? Like, they picked these heroes like Tusk, Bloodseeker, Queen of Pain. They're not going to let the game stay stale. They're just going to create as much chaos as they can. They realize this is pretty much not just good for the way that their team plays in general, because I think that NaVi thrive under those chaotic situations, but it's also what they picked. And this is even before Snako is level 6. He's going to be around level 5 soon. And then we're going to start seeing like relocate ganks on top of the action that we've already been seeing, and that's pretty much where NaVi want to be. They want to make Fnatic scared, like just to be anywhere on the map at all points.
The Hyo still finding a lot of space here on this top lane, pressuring the tier 1. Bottom lane, the rest of the side of Fnatic, KYXY able to destroy a tower. Now with the Phase Boots Aquila and the Ogre Club, this is going to be a very, very speedy BKB if KYXY's farm continues at this rate. 61 CS at 8.5 minutes in. Nearly almost perfect CS here on the Gyrocopter.
Well, we kind of expect that, right? He had a super easy lane. He was sitting there, and Havost was longingly looking at creeps and saying, I really wish I could hit those. The biggest things for me so far are the 2 core positions on NaVi, like Fnatic and Dendi. Both of them so far have pretty much brought to the table what they absolutely need to, which is good rotations, forcing a reaction out of Fnatic, killing the cores, like both of them, Lina and Gyrocopter together. That is the ideal situation when you're having a bad laning phase to make a transition where you know that you're going to be able to get those kills going for yourself. And the one thing about NaVi's lineup is they can't let up. They have to continue to look for those openings.
And Dendi's certainly going to do that. 10 seconds before he's got the Sonic Wave available again. Top lane. Fnatic having to be careful as a Hyo. Johnny and Mushi putting on the pressure. Okay, KYXY's going to actually join the cause here as well, looking for some more tower gold. And it's actually going to be Kessick being hunted down there by Havors. Dendi's there as well. Bane in a lot of trouble, looking for a neutral deny. Isn't going to happen. And this is another kill for Dendi. This could be the beginnings of quite a queen game here for the mid laner, and he's going to look for Mushi. He's going to find it. Double kill for Dendi. This is his 5th kill. They also get the courier. And he's still got the Sonic Wave. Dendi looking for the wraparound. 3 heroes. Can he find the angle? Gets the Sonic Wave out. Only catches 1 here onto Johnny, but now with the snowball forward, they're going to burst down Johnny. It's an ultra kill for Dendi. 10 minutes in. He's absolutely outdoing himself here, Dendi. We were saying at the beginning, it's all about Dendi. Dendi's got to pull it out of the bag. 10 minutes in, he's doing nothing less than that. 7 kills on the board, dominated the mid lane. This is he was not happy with how the games went yesterday, and he's bringing his A game today, Andrew.
I really think that these types of games where they rely on somebody like Dendi in that core position to bring their A game, like you mentioned. This is, I think, the way that their team has to play. When you have Dendi, you have to put him on impact heroes. You need to let him control the pace of the game for you. And it's being showcased right now that even in a horrible laning situation where one of your cores is just getting completely snubbed, that it doesn't matter as long as Dendi has the room that he needs to pretty much just roll the game. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. So they get to tier 1 in the safe lane. Now Fnatic, they've lost a lot in the last probably 2 to 3 minutes. And we knew that NaVi were going to play this aggressive style. It seems like Fnatic are just getting caught off guard by how mobile they actually are.
I mean, looking at the graph, as you said, those last 2 minutes is shown pretty much perfectly. Coming up to a 5,000 lead suddenly out the blue there for NaVi. And notable what was on the career. It was okay. It was KYXY's Ogre Club.
I'll relocate bottom lane.
Oh, here we go indeed. Hitting level 6 on Seneca. They want to use it straight away. And Dendi, with the help of the IO, finds himself that pick off onto Mushi. And I mean, this is classic NaVi. Seneko is going to go down. Feature grip thrown out there by Kesik. Not wanting to let the IO get away. Fnatic with the ice shards. Isn't going to be able to catch anyone out. So they do lose the IO, but well worth it there for picking up the kill onto Mushi.
Yeah, without a doubt, trading mid for support. You're always going to be happy with that. They do get the offlane tower in the meantime, so I think all in all, Fnatic probably end up even in that trade. Just being able to get that tower off the map is always going to be nice. This is going to be non-stop aggression, though. Again, I really feel like NaVi can't let up, because as soon as Fnatic get to their Wombo combo stage, and this is also prior to Johnny. He's level 4, right? He doesn't have his ulti yet. But one good vacuum, one good call down, one good Winter's Curse. That's going to be how Fnatic are going to turn these engagements.
Dendi, though, he's got his Yules finished at 12 minutes in on top of the treads.
Yeah, he is stacked.
This is incredible. And he's going to look for more. He's got the ultimate straight onto Mushi with the back of a Seneko. Mushi's going to die. Kesik is not going to want to reveal himself here. It's a monster kill streak here for your Queen of Pain 12 minutes in, and Dendi just continuing to impress.
I'm really, really happy with the way that NaVi, like, they didn't panic too much with their laning phase. Sure, art style, he made one rotation. He goes bottom, dies here. We're going to see a snowball here.
Wants to try and go for Johnny here, but ooh, unlucky there with the ice charge. The cold embrace is there in time as well for Johnny. And he's going to be A-OK here.
It's very refreshing to see NaVi able to recover from a laning phase like that. Because it looked really bad at first, right?
Yeah, it couldn't have been any worse, I don't think. Apart from the mid lane. Dendi was doing it right in the mid.
Mid was okay.
That's what counted.
The other two lanes were kind of struggling, but now,
is under attack.
As it often happens here when you're watching NaVi, it is very quickly becoming the Dendi show.
It really is at the moment, and we can see now Fnatic.
They got mech already.
Oh, on higher.
Yeah,
yes,
this is going to be a very strong gank.
Yeah. I see what Fnatic can do with it. Heading towards the mid lane at the moment, you've got both Pavors and Fnatic here. Actually drawing the long route round.
Oh, they both showed. I think they want to try to go on this.
Well, wrapping around, they've got the whole caboodle. They still don't have the Winter's Curse, but they're probably not going to need it. They've got the Fiend's Grip of Fnatic. Yeah, he's going to get Fiend's Grip straight up. Cooldown as well. Nowhere for the Tusk to hide in the snowballs. That's going to be a pick off there for Fnatic. They're not going to be able to find a second one, but nonetheless, getting themselves a kill, which they certainly need to. 10-4 at the moment, still a little bit behind NaVi, but Fnatic might look for a push off the back of this one. Ready to apply the pressure in the mid lane.
And the other thing, too, is you can never forget that Fnatic's 5-man is ridiculous. Like, when KYXY has call down up, Johnny hits that level 6, he's very close, he's only 40 experience away. You have to respect their combo until your BKBs are out. If you don't, and Fnatic are 5-manning, you can tell right now that NaVi, they're still very hesitant to try to fight into this because they realize it, and Mushi...
Oh, round the back, indeed, going straight for Seneko. Is he going to be able to find the kill? And now he's being ruptured up. Pavors trying to turn this one around. Now he runs away because Mushi's been caught embraced, so they're not going to be able to find that kill. Where is Dendi? Dendi, here he is coming in. He's got the Sonic Wave available in a couple of seconds. Moving forward, he'll be able to take down Johnny already. Now with the Yules holding the Gyro in place. He's a little bit low on mana, but he's got the dagger. Now Pavors chasing down the world. KOI trying to TP up. The damage is too much. Dendi now beyond godlike there with the double kill, and the rest of Fnatic just left to run away. Fnatic going to chase this one down with the snowball. Is going to find Kesik. The wall has been dropped by Ohio, and Fnatic actually taking a fair bit of damage here from the illusion. Bring him back as well, but Seneko is there. He's going to be able to relocate him out in 8 seconds if needed, but I don't think it is. Ohio is going to be the one to TP away. Vorce chasing down Kesik will clean up the Bane. 14-5, NaVi yet again taking a very nice fight against Fnatic, and Dendi 10 kills, 2 assists. They just can't kill him. 1,600 gold in the bank.
I'm really... Like, I watched that fight and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Mushi goes in. He ults and gets everyone a little bit lower, but at that point they didn't have cooldown. Like, Johnny still wasn't level 6. They needed like one more creep wave. And I think that fight would have went a lot better for them, because when you go in as Lina, you drop every single one of your abilities, and not a single hero is dead. You pretty much have to run. And even though they're able to keep him alive with the Cold Embrace, the teleport reaction coming in from Fnatic realizing, hey, I know their ultimates aren't actually off cooldown yet because they got Fiend's Grip a little bit earlier, and the cooldown had been used to kill me anyway. I can just go in and kill Mushi straight up. And then once you're down a core, the rest of the Fnatic team, like, they need their heroes to pretty much combo together. If they're fighting isolated, it's going to be a significantly weaker draft. This is a 5-man team, and they need to remember that.
And they're certainly sticking around in the groups at the moment. They've left Ohio on this top lane to continue to farm, which he has been doing very well so far. He is actually, in fact, equal in terms of farm to KYXY on the net worth. Still at the top of the board, though, of course, Dendy, 7,200 at the moment in total. Fnatic's managed to find himself an invis room here, but it has, of course, been spotted out here. So Fnatic needs to be careful. Sentry been popped out, and Fnatic might just walk into this. Oh, the blink reaction just in time. Getting himself out now with the Winter's Curse. They want to kill him. He's got the snowball available, and backups there as well. Maybe this isn't the fight that Fnatic want to take. Cooldown coming out, catching a few of them, but there's just Sonic Wave onto 3, onto 4, in fact, catching Mushi at the clip of it. But he's going to be able to find 2 heroes so far. Havors is able to run himself away, and now Denny's going to look for more. Moving forward with Fnatic, they'll be able to take down Johnny here on the Wyvern, and now blinking forward for more Mushi. He won't be able to cancel it as the Yules is on cooldown. They do end up losing Havors. But again, a 1-for-3 trade there for NaVi. And Fnatic just seem to struggle to do anything against the aggression of this lineup.
They're just not able to get their combo going. Like, the way that NaVi are taking the fights is so disruptive, and they're not ever having like a full 5 versus 5 clash. So even in that last engagement, the way that Johnny had to use his ult was suboptimal, right? Like, he wasn't able to get the combo that he really wanted going, and Mushi has had such a hard game that at this point, he's still only level 9. I mean, Dendy is level 11, almost 12. Keep in mind, level 11 is a massive level in terms of experience. It requires like 3 times as much experience to go from 11 to 12 than it does to go from like, what, 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 even?
Yeah,
so, with that being said, it's just an ode to how much Dendy and the rest of NaVi are just... If they were playing like this from the get-go, I don't think they would be the bottom of the group.
No, it certainly feels like just a totally different performance here for the team today, at least compared to, well, we saw them in all 4 games, didn't we, yesterday?
Yep.
And it was a very, very different NaVi. But this time, it seems to be, they seem to be in their comfort zone here. It's the heroes that they're working very well with, and the Dendy Quap, of course. Pretty much, well, it is a flawless performance so far. 11 kills.
Oh, relocate top lane.
Indeed, they've spotted him out on his own. They want to try and do it. And KYXY, not the place he wants to be, and he's got to be very careful about coming out and revealing himself in these lanes. Maybe just forgetting about the IO here. And yet another kill here for the Quap. Might be looking for more. He's going to have the ult here in 20 seconds. And well, Bunny's going straight in onto Johnny. Johnny's going to go down. Oh, Dandy clears that one up. He wants more for his scoreboard. And the scoreboard for this Queen looking pretty impeccable at the moment. And we were talking about Mushi falling behind. Just the difference between these two mids. Dendy with 13-0-4. Mushi with 0-5 and 2.
I'm not really sure. Fnatic, they have great high ground defense. That's one thing we can also talk about is if Fnatic keep getting bullied outside of the map, the one thing that they can always rely on is the fact that, okay, we got our huge wombo combo, and no one on the side of NaVi actually have a BKB yet. Like Havors, he went Midas, then he goes back for the SNY. He wants to just get items that increase his farm rate, still allow him to participate in these team fights, but again, like even Fnatic being in this position, they still have an opportunity to take a good fight if they can get everything going together. And this is a 5-man smoke. They're all in the same area. Let's see what they can do. Let's
see what they can do indeed. But the Sonic Wave is available here for Dendy. He's going to look very careful for an angle, and he might just find it. And they're moving in, and now already Fnatic being scouted out. They're going to go in, but that's a nice wall. That's the combo that you need from Fnatic. They bring down Havors. They nearly find Dendy. Dendy's going to be able to find himself sometime with the Yules. Will be able to bring himself out. Snake there with a heal. There's just Sonic Wave catching a few of them. KYXY is going to be taken down. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Artstyle getting low. Will just be able to get himself out of the fight. Ice Shard's flying through. Dendy blinking himself away. Snake now on the retreat. Funny going back in with a Walrus Punch there. On to Kesekimba. Brings down the Bane. Dendy being healed up by Snake, ready to go back in. Maybe thinking about this one. Johnny and Mushi still around. Ohio in the lane. But now, yeah, Dendy blinking forward onto Johnny there with the with the dagger. Now Ice Shards as well. But here's Ohio bringing back Fnatic with the vacuum. Not enough damage now. Dendy holding Ohio in place. Now looking for Johnny. Johnny's cold embraced himself. Will he be able to save him? He's actually turning around onto Dendy. Dendy getting low, but the weave now from Dazzle, giving him that armor buff. He's going to be A-OK. Fnatic finds Johnny, and now Artstyle just on the retreat. Dendy has TP'd himself out. It's just Artstyle and Snake left around here with Fnatic, who's been Yours up, could be in trouble. Light Strike Array. Looks like they'll find him. No! Shallow Grave just in time. He hasn't got a TP available here, so is he going to be able to get out of this one? And well, there.
No way! No way!
No!
Oh my. Right,
KYXY with the cleanup. Nearly getting away out of that one, Fnatic. But nonetheless, what a fight. Fnatic, they do find something. We saw the wombo combo come out, but you got to hand it to NaVi. They were able to fight back through it. And the fact that they could keep Dendi alive and allow him to still do that in response, and he still hasn't died. 15 kills, 5 assists on the quap, no deaths in the moment. Mid lane, Horse doing Horsty things here. It's going to be kept alive here by Sneko here with the mechanism in there. Maybe thinking about turning this one around. Dendi is about. KYXY has been ruptured. Doesn't seem confident in jumping in here. Lina has got Laguna. She hasn't got the mana to use it though. They're going to leave that one.
Yeah, I think if they realized how little mana Mushi had, they would have jumped. He might not have seen it.
I think that they see it now. They see now the mana on Mushi, and they're going to try and go for it. But the Yules from Mushi is going to be on time to TP away. Very nicely done there from Mushi. He'll be able to keep his life intact this time. Dendi still 20 seconds before he's got that Sonic Wave available again. Just, yeah, I mean, we're 21 minutes in. This man's got an Aghanims and a Yules. It's getting pretty damn disgusting.
He's a beast. What else can you say? Even, like, the start of the game, when he goes bottom, he gets those 3 kills. He's already put himself in a great position. The one thing about Queen in this game is you need to make sure that you're always the one forcing aggression. And with that Tusk and the Bloodseeker, like, Havos has been, I guess, less active on the map than Dendi, but what else do you expect, right? Like, it's Queen of Pain. You want to be at all these fights. Another smoke here from Fnatic.
Let's see what they can do. Again, Dendi with the ultimate available. He's going to get caught out this time by the Yules. He might be able to do this out with his own Yules. Yeah, he's going to use himself up straight away. Will allow him the time to get the blink out. So some of the combos already being dropped. Hasn't done anything, but now Fnatic, they found Artstyle, they found a Force as well. A Force can live off a Force. Gets relocated to the side there by Sneko to buy some time, and now he's going to go back in with the Sonic Wave there from Dendi. Dendi getting free script up, getting low. Fnatic will finish off Kesekimba. They found Mushi here as well. Dendi just blinking himself out into the trees, out away from this fight. They did lose Artstyle. Now Fnatic going for more, potentially blinking forward. Found Johnny. Havos dropped down the blood. Right, there's Dendi turning back up Johnny with the cold embrace, but he's almost certainly going to die anyway. Dendi and Sneko looking in for the kill, will find it. Third hero there to drop on the side of Fnatic, and NaVi just losing one. More stats here for the Dendi scoreboard, and the game I really look at the graphs now. It's going to be a massive difference. Yeah, it's coming up to about 12,000. XP is a similar story. I don't know what Fnatic, they've got to look for just a huge wombo combo to turn this one around. We've seen them manage to get off the combo a couple of times, but it just hasn't been enough at this point.
Well, I think the biggest thing is when they went in, they Yules Dendi right away, and they just go for the stun of Lina, right? But when you have Yules, if you just Yules yourself immediately after, it's like a 50-50 chance that the player either blinks away or just uses a stealth Yules after your initiation. So there, Mushi threw the stun thinking that Dendi might just try to go for a blink instead of Yulesing himself at a second time. But now you can just assume that Dendi is going to do that every single time. Like, just use the Yules to avoid the setup from the Lina, in which case you can hold your stun and cancel cast it and make him think that you're going to do it. And that way the stun will actually land the second time. Because once that combo is used, Fnatic's teamfight potential goes down the drain. Like, your call down is out. Mushi's already used his stun. He wasn't able to land anything really big in that fight. And the Fiend's Grip also got interrupted like immediately by Fnatic. He sees it, he blinks in, he goes straight onto the Bane, and he lets Dendi get out. So it's been a lot of close calls so far for Dendi. He's actually had 2 moments where he's been nearly dead and saved. And I think that even in this position, Fnatic, they're showing that their teamfight potential is still so good that they can contest NaVi.
And they just continues to try and find this farm on KYXY. I mean, he's still doing pretty good, 9.4k gold. As he's picked up the recipe here for the Black King branch of the Ogre Club. Still just needs that Mithril Hammer. And I'll have that done on top of the SMY. Her Vorst farm, though, has started to skyrocket. He's closing in on his BKB himself after the Midas SMY. Just the amount of space that Dendi's been able to create here for this Bloodseeker, meaning that her Vorst now is top of the last hit board. And this is a Bloodseeker that has 6 CS at 5 minutes in.
His recovery has been pretty miraculous. Just, it's a Bloodseeker, though, because the hero doesn't ever have to go back to base. If you're using mana to Rupture and Blood Right and go for the kill, then that's pretty much the point where you say, okay, now I got to go get mana or whatever. But as long as you're not being directly pressured all the time, you can farm for days. You get that Blood Rage going for yourself. You can accelerate your own farm rate just by having it up all the time. And like you were mentioning too, Dendi has been pretty instrumental in allowing NaVi to bring themselves back into this game after the first 8 to 10 minutes where the laning phase was not really ideal. I think Fnatic maybe just lost sight a little bit of what their lineup was actually built for. And then after a couple of really bad engagements where they were kind of split up, now they've realized, hey, look, we know our 5-man is really sick, so all we need to do is not get split up anymore, and then we can look to try to pressure that way.
We're talking about pressure, Fnatic trying to put it on here on this bottom tier 2. NaVi themselves, they've got Fnatic and Snako up here on the top. Tier 2 on the top lane already sitting at half health here for the side of Fnatic. Similar story here for NaVi. And Fnatic with the pings out, they want to stick around here. KOXY going to go in and he's going to look to try and finish off this tier 2. And it doesn't look like NaVi are going to do anything in reaction to this. Some of the pings coming out, just warning out, see if any TP's coming in, but no TP's down for this one. They're going to let this go. And with that, KYXY, only a couple of hundred gold away from that Mithril Hammer. The BKB complete, and Fnatic does find the top town. Fnatic, worth mentioning, of course, he did pick up that Desolator, helping him with the push, and is looking pretty damn stacked here on the Tusk.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with Fnatic being in that lane where he was still able to get experience. I think teams are going to start to realize very quickly that this hero, although he does do very well with farm, there's no doubt about that, it's more about the early levels and being able to get to like level 6, level 7, get that max level of ice shards going so you can actually go for a kill combo. Because we were talking a lot about Dendi, but Fnatic has also had a fantastic game. Like, he's 5-2 and 9. He's been very high kill contribution to his team. He was also the one who ganked Mushi in mid right when bottom lane they got those 3 kills that Dendi actually teleported for. So we said in the very beginning, NaVi, they want to go ham. And that's pretty much what everyone has been doing outside of poor Havost, who he didn't have a great lane. But now, he's back on top of the net worth, man. He's good to go.
Yeah, he's right up there with Dendi, which is pretty impressive, keeping on the same level as a Quap that's got 15 kills and 8 assists.
Yeah.
It just goes to show the amount of fun that Vorst has managed to find. BKB now done for him. Notable, of course, the BKB, of course, now done. The KYXY as well. So we'll see if that's going to allow the side of Fnatic to take a little bit of a better engagement next time they look for the old Wombo. But, Rich, I mean, you got Greaves finished on your IO.
This is pretty terrifying for Fnatic. Because of the fact that BKBs are going to start coming out on NaVi on top of the fact that that Wisp has Guardian Greaves, we talked a lot yesterday about how every single team has a specific damage composition. So you get your pure damage, your physical damage, and your magical damage. Right now, Fnatic are relying almost 100% on magical damage. Between their Darkseer, the Gyro combo, and then you have Bane, and you have Lina. And I'm pretty sure up until this point, yeah, Mushi does not have his Aghanims, so he does not have that pure damage to Good Blade. Which means with BKB being available on this Bloodseeker, the only ways they can stop him are just that ultimate from ultimate from Winter Wyvern and Bane Grip. And KYXY is going to get ruptured here, but looks like NaVi are more concerned with the tower.
This is going to be pretty key as well. If Dendi can hit level 16 before this fight, which he's only a few creeps away from, that's going to be devastating. That level 3 Sonic Wave with Aghanims. I mean, well,
not just that, but BKB at Dendi as well.
It's done. It's done indeed. I mean, I do not know how you're killing the Quap at this point. It's, I mean, Ags on Lina, it's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment for Mushi. He's got the point booster, 1k gold on top of it, but there's not going to be nearly enough pure burst damage or physical damage yet from the side of Fnatic to kill this Quap. I mean, I guess they've got the Winter's Curse, they've got the Punches of Jara, but still, you just look at the fact that you've got Snako. With Greaves, you've got Artstar. I literally don't think there's any way they're killing Dendi unless NaVi go for a massive misplay.
The Wisp, in my opinion, is really smart too, because you mentioned the Winter's Curse and stuff like that, but you can actually relocate people out of a Winter's Curse. That's the coolest part about it, right? Like, sometimes you see, like, people used to pick Venge for swap, you get your Shadow Demon for disruption, but Wisp just brings you to safety no matter what. And you have that insane health offset of the Wisp potentially double healing you with a tether, and then of course popping the Greaves on himself and whatever target he's going to. So that hero, it's kind of a Wyvern counter in a way. And if you can get that relocate in a team fight and then the curse is wasted, then all of a sudden Fnatic, they're down pretty much one of their biggest disables. And we saw how Fnatic, they don't have a very easy time functioning after that combo is thrown out. If they don't get kills with it, their team fight is pretty much already done. Like, they just need to either run, or maybe they've done enough to where they can try to clean it up. But last time when they fought in the woods, that was not the case.
Oh, Dendi Just pinging out to the side that Mushi is hiding now. Mushi is actually going to use up Dendi here, but Dendi's across the BKB. He wants to fight. There's just Sonic Wave catching out KOXY, bringing him low. He's been Blood Rage ruptured up as well. There's the vacuum wall though. They have lost Keskimbo on the Bane, and the Wombo is just not doing enough. They're going to put the Wind Skirt onto a Force. Force getting low, but not low enough. He's going to live through this one. They have managed to find the Gyro, and now they're going to clear up Johnny here as well. Again, Fnatic just throwing everything out, everything down, but finding absolutely nothing. They just can't dent NaVi's lineup at this point with the amount of lead that NaVi's found 30 minutes in.
It's just because the item progression of NaVi is too fast. They went from a pretty solid laning phase to Dendi getting a really nice 3-man gank bottom, Mushi dying, and then they transitioned into kind of like this little sloppy skirmish fights where NaVi, they want to skirmish. Look at their heroes, Bloodseeker, Queen of Pain, like Tusk. These heroes excel in small-scale engagements. You never want to fight these heroes if you're Fnatic, if you don't have everyone together. And I think they just gave away too much with their team fights. They said, okay, we're going to go in like 1 or 2 at a time, try to fight NaVi, and then set up a combo. But by the time that happens, the heroes are already dead. And look at NaVi now. They're feeling very confident. They want to go for this. Fnatic are smoked, but they don't have Winter's Curse. They don't have Wall.
This is going to be a very risky engagement to take. They do get off a very nice stun, and they burst down Arctar. This is big. Dendi getting low will be able to get himself out. Now the Snowball going for Mushi, but there's just Sonic Wave turning up. KOXY moving on to Dendi, trying to do what he can here with the BKB. Buyback now coming out from Mushi. Horse just turning to KOXY. 1v1 we made Dendi on the back lines. Bring KOXY low, will be able to bring him down. Dendi now blinking forward on pretty much 0 health. Pops the BKB. Has got the Aegis here, but that's the BKB used before the Aegis. Johnny on the high ground. Dendi, he knows it. I think he might just go for this one. Hasn't got the scream for a few seconds. Johnny with the golden embrace, and now Mushi trying to set this up with the Yules. Dendi, he's going to need some help, and there's the help. The gang's turned out. They're going to bow with a Wolf's Punch onto Mushi, and that is a dive back here from Lina. They're stuck on the high ground here with the wall and the Winter's Curse. Going on to Dendi, but he will be able to blink away. Havor's kind of stuck up here. He's like, guys, can you get me out of here? He is stuck in the trees. The higher will go with KOXY. They do kill Havor. Dendi able to get himself away, though, with Seneko. Have a look at the fight recap there. So it is, what, 3 for 3 effectively, but that was with 2 buybacks and a dieback from Fnatic. And you got to remember, all in all, at the end of the day, Dendi still doesn't die. He loses the Aegis, but still his life intact. 16 kills, 12 assists, been involved in 28 of the 32 kills this game.
When he dies, he's going to give him like 2k gold.
It's got to be a hell of a lot of
his death is actually just going to be like 2,000 gold.
Oh, really came in.
Here we go mid, yeah.
Indeed, they found KOXY. So he's got to look at the TPL. Will he be able to get it? Yes. Just gets himself out.
Yeah.
Nothing to stop it there for the Magic.
Yeah, very nice reaction. Obviously, top of the BKB, just trying to get himself out of there. I'm looking at Fnatic right now, and you saw that team fight, right? It was a 3-man or 4-man vacuum into a light strike array that I believe hit on 3. Imagine if Johnny had Curse for that. Like, they would have crushed that fight. It's just insane to think about that even with a 20-plus kill deficit, and the fact that right now Fnatic are behind in excess of 20,000 golden experience, Fnatic at the time just punching Bane to death. That damage is real, but even with that kind of a deficit, they can still manage to take fights. Just imagine if Fnatic had been a little bit more disciplined about how they take their 5 versus 5 and maybe just grouping up a little bit sooner. As soon as they got that mech on the Darkseer, they wanted to start trying to make things happen, but their fights were just, they were a little bit too sloppy, and NaVi took full advantage of that.
And the money is starting to rack it up with some of NaVi's members as well, funning. 2.6k gold on top of the Shadow Blade Deso. Artstars managed to pick himself up a gem, has that amulet towards the Glimmer Cape. Vorse now with a Hyperstone, possibly going to be looking for an AC. I mean, it would be very nice to help them out with this push. Very effective, of course, in these big 5-on-5s as well. And Dendi with 4,200 gold on him. And what do you expect we'll see from Dendi? I wouldn't be surprised with the amount of fights we're doing that we see him just go for the Octarine.
It could be Octarine. A lot of Queen of Pains have been favoring that item after you already have Aghanims. Makes it so your ulti is up like pretty much every single creep wave. And I think it puts your bulk at 4.5 seconds. Which is extremely fast. You could go Hex as well. Oh, okay, it's Shivas.
Okay.
Yeah, Shivas is still really nice too. Because with the Shivas, you're not really worried about the gyrocopter right-click anymore, which can be a bit of a problem. And if you get cursed, which is a high possibility, because Dendi is a high priority target now because he's freaking 16 and 0. If you do get cursed, there's less likelihood that you're going to die because you have that extra armor, so his physical damage mitigation is going to be quite a bit higher than it was. That's also a solo crest too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh man, I mean the Fnatic are going to try. They have got all the ults
Rupture.
available, but indeed Fnatic just going straight in onto KOX. Where they've got Cold Embrace here, buying the gyro some time. Looking forward here, Ohio really want to look for the fight. Denny's popped the BKB, looking for a stunning wave straight onto KOX. He's popped the BKB, but he's incredibly low, backing himself up. They have found Fnatic here. Fnatic kind of caught on the wrong side of the fight. Fnatic with the Warriors point, bringing KOX low. Laguna Blade does finish off Fnatic. Cold Embrace there from Johnny, topping up KYXY, and looks like, yep, Navi, I'm going to be too happy with that. Losing a hero, and this time not being able to find anything in return.
A little bit too ham, you know, just a little bit. Sometimes you just want to go for a kill and you say, you know what, I'm going to go on this. Didn't end up working out there for Fnatic, but I think Navi are going to be fine with that. You can't give away too many of those kills to Fnatic, because a gyrocopter late game is still very scary to think about. And Curse, it only gets better as the game goes on. As the heroes on the enemy team scale, Winter's Curse becomes that much more scary as an ability. And then you have Mushi. I mean, I gotta think at some point the guy's gonna finish his Aghanim's, right? Like, he's within 900 gold, a little bit under that now.
He's going to have it soon, but yeah. it certainly is
but
not the time he set out for.
Yeah, Lena's burst is still going to be something that you're going to have to respect, because only 2,000 health, it sounds like a decent chunk, but against Fnatic, if you get caught with your BKB, you can still die very easily.
Well, you certainly can. Bloodseeker, of course, now just about 100 away from finishing that recipe and getting himself the Assault Cuirass here as well. Dendy, as yeah, he's going to be able to have the potential to finish off the Achievers, just needs to get that Mystic Staff on its way. KYX, what's he got coming out? So just sending the curry out to the Secret Shop. 1900 gold on him at the moment. What's he going to opt for as his next up? Okay, so he's actually going to pick himself up a bit of invasion here.
Yeah, it's going to be Butterfly. Yeah, Butterfly is nice. With BKB popped, if he doesn't just die to the Queen Burst, having that extra evasion means that they, like, all-inning on him becomes a bit more dangerous. Evasion is fantastic, especially when no one on Navi is going to be buying NKB. If anyone, it's probably going to be Havos, and it might be the next item after he sees that KYXY has picked up that Talisman of Evasion in the first place. I believe Fnatic are trying to do something here. They're all grouped up on high ground. I'm not sure if they're waiting for Navi to pressure, or... There's only one hero showing right now, so they could be anticipating some kind of gank and just sitting on the high ground to make sure that if Navi are going into their woods, that they would be at the positional advantage. But now I think they're just going to go ahead and back off. Yeah,
we did just see some pings coming out from Navi around here, so maybe question whether there was going to be a movement from Fnatic down through the jungle past their Secret Shop. It's not going to be the case though, and Fnatic nonetheless won't be able to catch Navi off the back of anything. Dendy, Snake and Artstar just hanging around towards the bottom. Vorst and Fnatic are now heading towards the mid. They need to be a little bit careful here. They've spotted out KYXY. And I think, yeah, they're going to keep themselves safe here. It's going to be very hard for Fnatic to catch anyone out on Navi.
Another thing, too, that's frustrating for Fnatic now is the wisp factor that we haven't really said a whole lot about. I mean, sure, he's been ganking and stuff, but just the fact that you can play off-map like this, Fnatic have to play such inefficient Dota. They're all stacking together all the time, which means that they're not like split farming lanes. They're not doing what Navi are doing, which is, oh, well, we can just split up and do what we want to do. And the other issue is, Fnatic normally in this situation, they would want to smoke to try to find somebody, because they probably assume that Dendy is still free farming and Seneco's most likely just following him around. But they don't have any vision on Navi's side of the map. So smoke is always an inherent risk when you don't have that vision laid out for you to be able to say, okay, well, at the very least, we know they're not going to be here. Their only ward is on their side of the map. It's on that high ground on the way to the Roshan pit from the tier 2. And Navi now feeling like this is their time.
I mean, Amushi does have that Aghanim set to complete, so we'll see that big amount of burst pure come into play in the next fight. But is it just a little too late? Well, we'll see. Navi able to pressure. There's 2.2k gold now on your quad on top of the Shivas. They continue to look incredibly scary for the side of Fnatic. But Fnatic, as you said, really good high ground defense. It's going to be interesting to see how Navi go about breaking the base.
They probably just go for Roche. They have a... No, wait, that's Fnatic's courier, right? Yeah. Fnatic's courier was scouting Roshan. They just want to know when it's up, because there's a high likelihood that Navi just immediately bolt for the pit.
Oh no, KYXY! He goes out, he's going to put the BKB, he's found a few of the side of NaVi. Now he's ruptured up. Dendy's still got the Sonic Wave pure damage to burst through this if he wants to, but Ohio's there with mech to back him up. There is the backup of Fnatic, and Dendy trying to get himself in position for an ultimate there. There we go. KO outside, Johnny caught out. Beam script now from Kessick holding Dendy in place, and they have lost Fnatic on the side of NaVi. So it's a 1-for-1 at the moment. Dendy being kept safe and topped up by outside here with the Shallow Grave, and Dendy blinking forward. Takes down Bane, and that's going to be the gem recovered as well here for the side of NaVi. 3 heroes seeing the deck on the side of Fnatic. Ohio and Mushi just left in the base here. It's going to be a buyback from Johnny, realizing they've got to do something on the defensive here.
What can he do, though? There's no buyback on Gyro. I mean, the Bane can buy back, but there's no Fiend Script. There's no Curse. I think NaVi just racks them here.
Well, with this AC on Force, they're doing the incredible right there. Shit vacuum, but there is not a wall available. Burns Blast doing quite a bit of Force getting low, but Snake, the amount of sustain that NaVi have at this point, incredibly hard for Fnatic to fault into. NaVi just go back onto the melee rack. They should be able to claim this one. Still 30 seconds before the gyro is back. Denny going forward. Will get used up here by Mushi. Looks for the stun, but again, Dendy there with the counter. Using himself, dodging out the stun. And they will clear out the top set of racks and get themselves out as well. Oh! Avost!
Goodbye, Avost.
They're going to play to the backside. Mushi not happy with that. The fact that they took the racks and punishes Bloodseeker. So they do get at least that off the back of it. But that's the set of racks down. More kills for Dendy at 4,600 gold. Let's have a look at his net worth now. 21,000 here. He is a good... Well, the highest net worth on the side of Fnatic is Darkseer. It is quite a difference here between the two sides. We're at a 30... I don't think I've seen many games where it's been a 30,000 lead. And the team that's behind are still kind of in it.
Yeah. But that's why I was so concerned for NaVi at the start of the game. Because I'm looking at Fnatic's lineup and I'm thinking to myself, how do you actually fight that? Imagine if it was only like a 10k lead or a 15k lead and maybe Mushi had like one more item or KYXY had a butterfly and even just some lifesteal. The difference in the team fights would be massive. I mean, they're going for Roshan. This is kind of a last-ditch effort. They realize that Havost hasn't bought back. They know that they have an opening here, and they need to try to do something about it. And their option is here to kill Roche, maybe force NaVi into an engagement that could not be them.
He wants to go for it. There's Jerome. Kessick's down. Ohio will be able to get off the mech now with the War's Punch from Funny. Funny being held in place here by the Winter's Curse. Dendy. And he wants to Funny now with the Guna Blade onto Dendy. Dendy's going to be fine, able to blink himself away. Funny just scouting out and chasing away KYXY. It was actually the relocate, sorry, from Seneko, bringing Dendy out of the fight. Almost only going to bring him back in. Funny taking down Johnny here on the high ground, and there's Dendy, brought back in here by Seneko after Seneko did save him from any further disaster. But 2 heroes down. Fnatic, they were looking for the play in terms of getting Roshan. It's not going to happen. And NaVi now go into the pit to finish off Roche themselves, playing themselves the Aegis. And this might just be the ticket to closing down the game here if NaVi want to go for it down the mid lane.
That's most likely the last nail in the coffin, as they say. There's kind of this weird feeling of Fnatic. I liked their draft a lot more this game in terms of what they were able to do in their 5-man, but NaVi just outplayed them so badly. Every single point in this game, it was always them on the aggression, just making sure that they could find kills like
straight in with the old 1-2. That's Kessick down on the Bane. KYXY popping the BKB, but he's got to sit there. Ruptures on and throws down the corner and trying to fight this nice vacuum. Sonic Wave there from Dendy, blowing them up. It's got beyond godlike double kill for Dendy. It's a team. It's over. This game is well and truly over, and Dendy. You said it being the Dendy show. This is a classic Dendy show game. 20 kills, 15 assists, doesn't die at all. I mean, the rest of the team of NaVi, big shout out to them. They all played it pretty impeccably as well. You look at Seneko. We'll see in a minute on the scoreboard. The amount of assists this guy had on the Aya, very impressive play.
He only died once.
But I mean, just NaVi